Well, I forgot to put in the music today, folks. I don't know how I forgot to put that video in, but so we're starting a little bit unusually. It's probably my fault because before we came on, right before we came on, we were talking to our guest, Madeline Rowland. Madeline, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning how she's saying, technology. We had a little bit of technical difficulties before we get started. Shawn's messing with his headphones. The screen is blank. And I'm like, I got it from here. I got it from here. There'll be no more technical glitches. And right out of the box, a technical glitch. So
It's no one's succeeding right now.
jinxing my own self, as they say in Murphy's Law. So anyway, Madeline, you're having a fantastic meet so far down there at Tampa Bay Downs. And I noticed every single video I watch, every single commentary that I see, just there's like a unanimous consent that every time you win, you are almost euphoric, very happy. Where does that come from?
Loving horses. I mean, it's everybody loves to win, but it feels amazing when a horse tries so hard for you, and it makes me so happy that every horse I'm on, that I win on, wants to try that hard for me. And, I'm on top, I'm in control, so they're listening to me. They're giving 100%. And when they give 100%, why not be happy? You can't be mad if you win.
No, that's absolutely 100% for sure. So you said they're listening to you. So what do you think that maybe you're doing with some of these horses that maybe didn't have the success? We won't name other people, other jockeys, but what do you think that you're doing with some of these horses that helps? Because a lot of them are prices, help them get to the finish line. Why are they listening to you?
Confidence in the post parade. I think it's super important, following a horse's lead. Of course, you need to follow instructions. If a horse needs to be warmed up more than others, you do it. But after your warm up, if your horse wants to jog, let them jog. If they want to have a walk, let them walk. If they even want to stop and look around, why not? So I think that's before you get in the gate is your time. If that's the first time you've been on the horse, that's your time to get to know the horse before the gates open.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can follow their lead, that definitely helps. That's for sure.
So before the gates open and you're walking around, if you've never been on a horse before, what sort of things do you do with the horse to let it know that it's okay or safe with you? I think about my dog, right? My dog, anytime we go anywhere, it's looking to me for like affirmation or like it's okay. I don't know if horses are the same way because I haven't really spent a lot of time around them. But what do you do specifically to let a horse know it's okay, so to speak?
I talk a lot. I'm always kind of on a nervous horse. I'm always talking with as calm of a voice I can have with them. Petting them. They're just big dogs to me. Mm-hmm. They are really just big dogs, I think. Definitely with mares or fillies, they need more praise than geldings or colts. In my opinion, they want to kind of be told that they're doing the right thing. And yeah.
So you started as a young girl. Your father, before he passed, was a trainer.
Yeah.
And so you wanted to get into horse racing, but your mom wanted you to do show ponies or show horses instead. And then she said no, but I read you said, well, once she realized that she wasn't going to get her way or something along those lines, she was all for it. But now that she gets to reflect, does your mom deny that she ever told you not to do it? And she's like, see, I told you would be great at this.
My mom has always supported me. She knew I loved. She, of course, is part of the reason I love horses so much. Her and my dad did a lot getting me to grow up with horses and to really appreciate them. And she wanted me to stay in horse shows and thing because it was important that I learned proper riding.
Mm-hmm.
It was important I didn't just get on, kick it in the belly, and go. So I really appreciate that because a big part of getting a horse to settle, you need to know how to properly ride, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't know their diagonals. It works out for some people, but I'm just very grateful that I learned in a show ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then after my dad passed, I was still just doing the horse shows, and my mom found a pony camp that was kind of like pony racing camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a couple pony races. She let me finally. And from there, it was just horse racing, really.
It was just straight to the winner's circle from there, quite literally, right?
Yeah.
So Jamie Martinez, a great fan of the show, wonderful lady, says, you have so many mentors here in Tampa and people who adore you. Who has made the biggest difference for you down here?
In Tampa Bay Downs, Juan Arriagada, for sure. He put me on my first winner ever. And I really don't think I would have this successful of a meet without him. I am very grateful for him, for his wife, Allison. They're very amazing people, and they really gave me a chance. And my first race here, they put me on a winner, and I love being in Juan's barn. I like what he does with the horses. He's a good horseman, and he really has helped me a lot and made a big difference. I've learned a lot from him, and yeah.
And another person that I read that was very important to you, you said she's like your horse mom, is the owner trainer Elizabeth Merriman. Can you tell us about her and your relationship?
She's in Maryland, in Fair Hill. She's literally my horse racing mom. She taught me really how to gallop racehorses. I knew somewhat just from pony racing and riding steeplechase horses how to gallop. But galloping on the track, she taught me a lot, almost everything. And she gave me a chance that not a lot of people would, Not a lot of people want someone falling off every week while they're learning, because the horses need to be trained. They can't get trained if someone's falling off of them all the time. But once we got past that and she realized I wasn't going anywhere, then yeah.
And is it correct you're still in high school too? You're graduating this year?
Yeah, I'm a senior this year.
So how does that work with balancing school and riding?
It works. Online school makes it pretty easy. I can do online school in the afternoons if I don't have races, but usually when I have races, I find some time in between races in the mornings to do my school every day.
After Tampa Bay here, do you have any plans on where you're going?
Like around Delaware, Monmouth, Laurel, there's a lot of tracks up there, all within 2 hours of each other. So it makes it pretty easy to be able to ride every day. Hopefully that's the plan, to just get a lot of experience and really use my apprentice year.
Out of all the tracks you've been to so far, and you mentioned some of them, what's the one you like the most, and what's all different about all the tracks that you've noticed?
To be honest, Tampa is my favorite. I that could change, but right now I'm been the most successful here. And I've kind of, I walk into the jockey's room and get to say hi to everyone, and it's like your second family. Everybody's good to talk to and wants to help you, and if you have a question, they're going to answer it without you feeling judged. And other places, I only rode 2 races at Delaware last year because the track was closing for the winter. And I loved Delaware. I got very comfortable there. Just taking out my license, I got to hang out in the jockey room a little bit. And Laurel, I like Laurel too. I didn't ride at those tracks like I've been in Tampa. So to say I am comfortable here, but I'm still learning, and I'm not just staying in my comfort zone here.
You have
Charles says, if you like Tampa turf, you should follow your horses to Colonial this summer. Or would you think about that?
I would totally think about it. It's good because Colonial is also not terribly far from Monmouth and Delaware and Laurel. It's all just a drive away, and their turf is great in Colonial. One of my goals is to ride on it this meet.
Do you have a preferred distance surface? You like the turf better than the dirt?
I like anything. I just like being on a fun horse. I like the turf. I have more experience on the dirt. I've only ridden my first turf race this summer. This meet on a actual turf track at the flat track. I rode on the turf with steeplechase horses and everything, but that's a lot different.
That's jumping.
Yeah. But you also you don't have to ride as tight in the steeplechase races. And flat racing, a big thing, and I think part of the reason they don't let you ride on the turf right away when you first take out your license is because you ride so much tighter in a group on the flat turf course.
So when in the I forget which track is it Belmont, Shawn, or Saratoga? One of those tracks, maybe both of them, I don't remember, but usually one of their first races is a steeplechase race. So if we're going to bet steeplechase races, from your experience, how should we attack those steeplechase races from a betting standpoint? What does a winner look like?
They're race horses. I say if you're looking for a timber horse, which is they jump like hardwood, you're looking for a long back. They're just race horses. A lot of them have probably run on the flat before, but was never a race long enough for them.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big bettor. I don't look at horses and say I'd bet on that, even though jockeys can't.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just race horses. Look at it how you would a flat horse, but remember they gotta go a lot longer.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
So do you look at the program, and what are you exactly looking for?
I look at the program and figure out where everybody, hopefully plan out where everybody's going to be in the race. But numbers don't really mean anything to me, because no matter if I'm 30-1 or 2-1, I want to try just as hard and give 100%.
We had Kylie Jordan on last week, and she said every time she thinks she's gonna win, she doesn't. Every time she doesn't think the horse might win, they do. Do you kind of get the same impression, or?
Kind of. I just think if we're gonna win, I'll wake up in the morning and a slight thought, I'll be like, I'll win today. And then I'm like, oh, stop it. What? Just go to work and, focus on that when you're getting a leg up,
Mm-hmm.
And then I win. And I'm like, oh, I knew it.
You spoke it in the universe.
Yeah.
Mhm. The law of attraction. So Jamie asks again, are there any jockeys in particular who have gone out of their way to help you?
A lot of people. There's been a lot of people that helped me. Jose Ferrer helped me a lot with position and everything. We've talked a lot watching replays and everything, how looking good isn't just about looking good. It's also about helping the horse. When you're flopping all around, you can't help the horse that much. When you're in rhythm and smooth, you're guiding the horse along and kind of just coasting with it. Yeah, Jose and Hector Diaz has helped me. Sometimes when I'm looking at a program and I'm not really sure, I'll go to him because he's right out the door from the girls' stocks room. And I'll just ask him, I'm like, what do you think about this? And he'll say, oh, yeah, that's a good plan. Or he'll be like, no, So a lot of jockeys will help you if you're willing to learn. And I love learning. I know I'm never going to stop learning, but right now I'm in the peak of learning. I really need to soak up everything that I can in this year to try and be as successful as I can be.
Mm-hmm. So when you're done with high school this year, hard to believe that you're out there having success on the track and still in high school. But when you're done, what do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what are your plans or your hopes?
Be leading jockey at some track.
Do you have any big tracks in mind? You're happy to stay at Tampa Bay?
I want to go wherever I plan to. I mean, if I end up going to Gulfstream or anywhere, really.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had a lot of young people get in the game, a lot of young females get into the game and just up and coming.
Yep. It seems like there's a very strong colony of young female jockeys.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. How do we get more young people into the game? Besides that, what else can tracks do and stuff that you think could attract more people?
Well, when someone likes animals and likes horses, you can tell. You can tell if they're just someone that wants to pet them and walk away like a petting zoo, or if someone actually wants to learn about them. And I think it's awesome when there's people that want to learn about them. If you're looking for people to be inspired and work with racehorses, you'll know who they are right away. Because not everybody actually wants to work with them. They just want to observe, and that's okay. That's really okay. Not everybody's going to want to be around animals and horses. But it's a tough sport. You need, it's kind of tough love. That's what I compare this sport to. There's a lot of people in the sport are tough people. It's not for soft and weak people. You know what I mean.
We know what you mean. Shawn, you couldn't be in it then. No, I'm just kidding, Shawn. I would be the one that would be like, what? It's true. I was on a horse once, and not that I don't like the horse, but he didn't like me. So that was made for a difficult trip.
Honestly,
get this old heavy dude off of me.
Yeah, I have not been around horses, but I would love to. This is one thing eventually I'd love to be around horses more and get to know them more. I just haven't had the opportunity, but always loved the sport because of part of that,
Yeah. And the opportunities will be there. Sometimes you just gotta go for them, If you recognize a trainer at next time you're at the races and you're like, I really want to learn how to be around racehorses. They're like, okay, come to the barn. We'll give you a halter and a lead rope, and that's where you start, you know?
Yeah.
They can see Shawn with a bucket and one of those brushes and washing up them horses. So before I go on, Shawn, hold a second. Robert Bryan says, what do you feel are your strong points?
Strong points in...
Well, anything that you think makes you a good jockey. I mean, strong points on the horse, but there might be a personality trait that you feel like you have that makes you strong on the horses. So from your opinion, what makes Maddie?
One, absolutely loving the animals. I've said it so many times. I would do this job for free. It's not really a job for me. I love it that much.
You better be careful with saying you'll do it for free since you speak things into the universe.
The check is nice. Don't get me wrong, but I really like that I want to learn. I really like that when I'm interested in something, I don't just stop when I've learned something for the day. Cool, I've learned something. Let's find something else to learn. You know, there's always something to work on and learn, and it's life. That's how we grow, and nobody knows everything.
I would say
there is people that know more than you, so that's who you learn from.
Absolutely. I would say what we were talking about before, the number one thing that horse racing has is the accessibility. Like yourself, you know, I reach out to you right away. You come on the show. There's so many great people in horse racing that do that. When I'm fans of other sports, but trust me, you can't reach them.
No talking to LeBron James, that's for sure. Jamie says, in light of your success, what advice would you give other young girls who aspire to be where you are, a great young jockey?
Don't take shit. Like, there's going to be so many people that make fun of you and talk behind your back and be mean girls like how you hear in high school. And the only thing to do is get stronger from it. I've grown up being tough, and that's another thing that I enjoy about myself in this sport. I don't take shit. You know, I'll listen and I'll take it in, but if it's something that I feel you're telling me to hurt my feelings or to get under my skin, it's not going to. Because that's when you start doubting yourself, and when you doubt yourself, how do you grow?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I agree 100% with you. You know, I have kids too, and sometimes things that people say bother them.
Yeah.
And I've never been one that's been bothered by anything anybody says to me. They could say anything to me. I have a friend of mine who insults me all the time. Yeah. And he says, I can say anything to you and it rolls off your back. And I say to him, why should I give somebody else control?
Exactly. Why give someone control over what you are feeling? That's your choice. And don't get me wrong, words hurt sometimes, for sure. And it's never wrong to think about it and to even ask someone, you know, their opinion, someone that you trust and that you care about their opinion. It's never wrong to ask them, like, hey, this person said this. Like, you know, let them give them their honest input. And there's going to be haters.
Always.
So, yeah.
And the more successful you become, the more there will be. Sorry, Shawn, I keep interrupting. I'm doing it on purpose, though.
I'll jump in eventually.
See how long it takes me to get you mad. But go ahead.
I always hate asking this question, but and you said about the haters. Do you still deal with that because you're a female in a male-dominated sport? Or do you think that's not been an issue?
Not necessarily directly, but there's people that you might not hear it directly, but you hear it, if you know what I mean. You know, there is trainers that are known not to ride girls just because they're girls. You know, they're not going to say to you, to your face, no, I don't want to ride you because you're a girl, you know. But it's definitely, the sport is a lot more equal now. I don't feel judged by the guys. And I just want to, we're all doing the same thing. You know, why not just compete against each other? I don't want to be the best girl. I want to be the best jockey.
Absolutely. I love your attitude, I got to say. William says, go to parks. Don't think to have any lady riders there. And then Charles said, watch you ride Origo in the 7th race on Sunday. Do you think that horse likes the turf?
You got to jog your memory a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sunday, I won on Origo in the 7th race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he likes the turf, but he handled the turf great.
Shawn, any final thoughts, Shawn? Always, we tell folks we'll be on for 15 minutes, and here we are, a half an hour in. It seems like 5 minutes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, 8:30.
See, she's
See what I'm saying? It goes so fast, no?
All day.
Yeah,
that's all right.
So what I have to say is absolutely, I love your attitude, Matt, and keep staying humble, keep with that attitude, and you're going to be really successful. And trust me when I could say we could probably do 5 more half-hour shows with her. So
or just anytime. 1 3-hour show.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming on. We wish you nothing but success, and I absolutely love your attitude. Go out and keep not taking any. I've never sworn on the show before, so I won't either. Don't take anybody's beep. Right. Even ours. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening and tremendous success going forward. We look forward to watching your career and, of course, having you back many, many, many times.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You got the big head again. I'm getting so good at the big head. Let's see. Hold on a second. All right, there we go, Shawn. So we're back. Absolutely. I have to say that it was I absolutely love her attitude.
Absolutely. And, you know, again, we know the name. I've talked to her a little bit through Facebook, getting her on the show and stuff. I didn't know. I mean, that was absolutely great. And I mean, if she didn't gain more fans at this point, I mean, you can't get much better than that. If she stays humble and healthy, she's gonna skyrocket right to. She will win a jockey.
I can't tell you. I mean, for me, as if I owned a horse, I would want somebody with that kind of I know I'm going to win attitude and put them on the horse, because I do believe that to some degree you control your destiny, right? The stars. I forget. I read somewhere along the line, but you know, if you speak something into the universe, the heavens and the earth will align to make it happen. And to see that, and I love that she said, I'm not going to take anybody's crap. So many kids nowadays, you see, you know, the slightest of insults and they get so torn up, and she's just like, water off my back. And I absolutely love it. And it's probably too, like, if it does bother her, without knowing, I would guess she would never for a second let that other person know.
And the other important thing is she'll learn no matter what. So no matter where she's getting advice from too, she's taking it in and learning. So yeah.
Hard to believe she's not even out of high school yet.
Yeah. The sky is the limit for her. I mean, absolutely. And you know, maybe there's something, because we talk about this, how many young female jockeys and how many female jockeys are doing good. I really think they're just out to prove too. I mean, you get us males can be a little arrogant and stuff. Females are just, we're not going to go out and I'm not going to take your shit and I'm going to.
Now you swore.
Yeah, now I did. That was the first time I swore on the show.
See, there you go. I was like, yes, there we go. Anyhow, but no, that was really fun. I appreciated that 100%. Big fan as well. You know, you can mark me down in the Maddie Rowland fan club right now. Not that I wasn't before, but now I am the chairman of the club. All right, Shawn.
How she always beats you, but now you got to start playing.
Yeah, no, she does always beat me because she's always getting more out of the horse than what it shows in the numbers. I know people say the numbers don't matter, but they do matter. Shawn and I have this conversation all the time. Shawn's another one of the numbers don't matter guy, but they do matter.
No, I never said numbers don't matter.
Everything in the universe is math. Every single thing.
I never say numbers don't matter, but if you could take the numbers, but that horse isn't as good as the track and the distance. I'll take the horse that's good at the track and the distance and with the better jockey and the better trainer. That would be the difference.
But you're talking about numbers again, right?
Well, yeah.
All those things that you're talking about, they all manifest themselves in numbers. All right. So anyway, something that's not manifesting itself in numbers is people don't want to pay this HISA. They don't want to collect these HISA assessments, Shawn. So this thing is looking what is supposed to start on July 1st, right? So we're about 3 months away. And HISA is definitely stumbling to its knees out of the gate, Shawn.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this. No track's going to raise their hand and say, yeah, we're going to do it. So
we're going to raise our hand. We're going to do it. The better, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they're just going to force everybody's hands and something's going to happen, right? That's what you said. Eventually it gets to the point and they just all got to do it, right?
At some point. But like you brought up yesterday, Shawn, with these horses, with all these people, with Another Day That Ends in Y with Bob Baffert. There was another story out there today about Bob, and figured we had enough Bob Baffert stories to go to take us for his 90-day suspension anyway. Yeah. But there is another one out there. He withdrew his lawsuit against the Churchill Downs. So I think that is officially the end of all that. So we probably won't hear, probably racing his horses over in Britain starting on tomorrow. That's what we'll see. But you're right about that HISA, Shawn. He's got a case where people are they're going to get a bill, and then the bill's going to have to be paid, and you know where that's going to come from. The bill's going to come from right here. The handles from different horse tracks. We sent you out the information there, Shawn, on the March numbers, up a little bit for the first quarter of the year, down a little bit in March. Again, I do think that maybe 2021, with all the other sports leagues and stuff that were kind of slow to come back online, and sports betting and horse racing was the only show in town for a good part of the year. They're probably a little bit of inflated numbers in 2021. So to see that it's up from 2019, the last full year, I think is still a positive.
Yeah. It's definitely not. 2021 and 2022 isn't exactly the greatest comparison with different things going on. So you also got to remember the other sports going on. You got March Madness. You're getting ready for the Derby also. So people may be saving some of their bankroll, going into
maybe. It's only down 2%. It's not a lot. It's such a small amount. But again, I do think that in light of the, of all of the different venues that were closed and things that were not happening, now that things are open back up again, and you have more options. There's really what it boils down to: more places for degenerates to go. That's pretty simple, right? But if you want one place to go, and maybe this is not a degenerate idea, but these NFTs with horse racing. It's a nice little story here about the best virtual horse racing NFTs to invest in 2022. Have you ever given this any consideration, Shawn?
No, I'm still lost by this whole idea. I really am. Even, you're on DraftKings and stuff and they try to sell you NFT stuff. And yeah, I'm lost by it. Don't really interest me too much. But I guess it is the next wave. So maybe I'll be one of those
over here. Doesn't look like a horse to me. It looks more like I don't know what it looks like. It's like a cat or something with those green eyes.
Yeah, I feel like maybe one of those old people that are just like, yeah, I don't get it, and just moving on. I
had a good NFT idea, Shawn, and I don't know. And I was talking to my son about it because he's 22 years old, so he's in the middle of all this stuff. One of his friends does these NFT things, and he was explaining to me and he sells a picture of a potato for a third, 3/100ths of a Ethereum coin. So. And he was saying they actually sell and they do pretty well. And I was thinking about, and I don't know, I probably shouldn't give the idea out here, but I will anyway. I was thinking about, since we have the connections with jockeys and trainers and folks like Maddie, where we can take get them to agree, right? Obviously, and have take a caricature. You know how you go to Jersey Shore and there's a person sitting on the Jersey thing there with the easel and their colored pencils and they'll draw a caricature of you. To have someone draw a caricature of the folks that we know, make NFTs out of them, right? Because it's just a digitized picture. Then it's locked into a code on the blockchain so that you can keep a perfect record of where that is and who it belongs to and so forth. But then take those, sell them, and then take proceeds from them and donate them to like aftercare for horses, for the Disabled Jockeys Fund and stuff like that, because that's where a lot of these things do really well. Excuse me, is when they have a social issue connected to it. What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, I'm sure that idea would be a great idea and it would work.
Pardon me, I should hit the cough button. But yeah, so that's something I was thinking about. And if anybody out there knows how to make these NFTs, is a software, and you think that's a good idea, or a jockey trainer that thinks this is a good idea, or people in the aftercare marketplace, reach out to us at gtsrichb@gmail.com, or hit up Shawn on the DM on Twitter. That will definitely be something that we can consider doing. All right, Shawn, I'm going to call this the Shawn idea. It's not really your idea, but this is, you asked the question and Twitterverse responded. And then shortly thereafterwards, boom, there's the rule. The rule comes out from the Maryland Jockeys Association that they're going to allow bettors to have a alternative on their vertical bets. Shawn, I give you all the credit in the world. And I never give you credit for nothing.
Yeah, you don't give me credit, and I'm going to turn it down because it definitely didn't have to do with me. This has been something every bettor's been crying for a while. Begging for, crying's probably a bit begging for, because like people say, if I didn't want the favorite when I picked 4 different horses, why do I want the favorite now?
Well, you don't necessarily know the one you pick is going to end up being the favorite, right? I mean, a lot of times I'm on a 5-1 horse. Like today, for example, at Parks, kind of a tough little back half of the card, but my long shot was 8-1 morning line. Went off at 5-2, was the second favorite. A lot of times you see horses like that end up being the favorite. So it might not have been a horse that you wanted that became the favorite anyway.
Yeah, and then sometimes what you do is you get one of your horses twice. So instead of having it, for 50
that's good when it wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you're down to 1 at that point. So another person I have to give credit to, Shawn, is CC Perkinson. I know her horse didn't win today, right? But she said something to you about our horse racing today gear. And now I have to wholeheartedly agree with her, which I don't ever want to do. But CC said that we needed some much better looking models. And I have to give her credit where credit's due. She's definitely a much better looking model than you and I are of these horse racing today shirts. There we go, Shawn.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
She just edges out Terry, but she still edges out Terry too. So, yeah.
Makes me think of the song, The Lady in Red, right? Because there's the lady in red. Unfortunately, that red didn't get her into the winner's circle, so we might not see her wear that to the track for again. She did back to the red pants.
She was giving up her winning attire to wear our attire, and I said, "Well, that will be your new winning attire." But it was a long shot today that she had, so
she can't blame us then.
Yeah, so the test will be if she wears that when one of her big horses run and they were expected to win.
Well, I do want to thank her for putting it on. She's absolutely 100% right, Shawn. She does a much better job presenting the horse racing today gear than you and I could ever dream of doing. All right, Shawn, who's on tomorrow night? Do we have like a person that can give you advice? That's right. Tomorrow is the self-help show for you, Shawn.
Yeah, Electra Boone. She's an assistant trainer and she's also a TikTok star. So
she might not want to come on anymore after you do your dance, because we're barreling in on 1,000 followers on Twitter real fast.
Yeah, a lot of people are participating with all the questions too, which is great, and I thank them. We prove with these questions and stuff that horse racing Twitter is not bad and horse racing is not bad. You can spin a positive light on it and you can have friendly debates and not everybody scream at each other.
Just don't randomly at people, Shawn, because you might make an occasional person upset.
I do, but I thank all the people that do get tagged that participate and don't get mad about it. So the question today, Rich, is
who's the most underrated horse? All right, so why don't you give me your answer first, because I told you I felt like mine's going to shock you.
Okay, well, I really
maybe not shock you, but it's going to. Man, go ahead.
I had to think about it a little bit, and I got to be honest. In every sport, I love sports. I love stats. I'm not a historian type person.
You got recency bias, is what you're saying. Go ahead.
Kind of, but and I'm also in PA, so I'm going to be a homer here. I'm going to go with Smarty Jones. 8 of 9, almost won the Triple Crown, only lost in the Belmont where he was up 4 or 5 lengths and then just blew it at the end there. Just was too tired, but and then was retired. I would say Smarty Jones is not a name you hear enough of. I probably hear enough of it because of being in PA, but I don't think it's a universal horse that's brought up as much as it deserves.
I'm going to say I'm going to suffer from recency bias here as well. I was thinking about this question, and I have a recency bias too. And I also feel like this horse was a very good horse, but got overshadowed by a lot of nonsense, especially since the 2020 Kentucky Derby.
Mm-hmm.
Medina Spirit, I feel like, is a horse that, because of all of the shenanigans that went on around Medina Spirit, the horse was a very good horse. And because of the nonsense with the, what was beta-themazoid or whatever it is that was rubbed on its knees, maybe I can use some of that in my old age too. But I feel like the horse's accomplishments were just totally shoved to the side. And then, of course, unfortunately, the horse passed away from a heart attack. And was cardiac arrest, right? Something like that, right? That happened to that horse?
Yeah, while he was training.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like that horse is one that totally was on the bad end of stuff that it had nothing to do with, and therefore most people don't even think about it in terms of horse racing.
Yeah, he'll never get the credit for winning that Derby, because the people that believe that really helped will never give that horse any credit at all. So yeah, that's a good one.
William says Riva Ridge. And Jamie says that Willie used to get on Smarty Jones and he adored him. So Smarty Jones adored Willie, or Willie adored Smarty Jones, or they adored each other?
One thing I'm going to start doing, Smarty Jones is probably only like an hour and a half from me. I'm going to look into that and see if I can visit him, and maybe I can take some videos and pictures and do that kind of stuff.
I asked that question because I do hear from people that the horses like some people and can't stand others, right? So I was watching this show yesterday. I was watching a couple funny things today on the internet before I was getting ready to come on, Shawn. And the one thing you might want to Google, it was really funny. It's called the Call My Wife, My Girlfriend Challenge. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh my God, is it funny? So guys are on the phone, right? And like they're all in the car for some reason. I don't know why well, I think one was not in the car. So they're on the phone, and as their wife is getting in the car, they pretend like they're talking to somebody on the other line. And like, hey, hold on one second. Yeah, my girlfriend just got in the car, right? And the girls are like, what? I'm your wife. And some of them just get furious, and it's really, really funny. So
I could imagine it. I deal with if somebody calls Hillary my wife, she gives me the look of it should be, but still girlfriend type deal. So I still get that look.
So Google that. I promise you're going to laugh. The Call Your Wife Your Girlfriend challenge. If you don't laugh, you don't have a sense of humor. And then the second thing I was watching, we're horse racing, right? Just out of the random blue, I was on, when you open up MSN, there's when you open up your computer on Microsoft, I get on the internet, I get like all these stories, right? And one of them was, there's like a how to act around deadly animals most of the time, like snakes and, like animals that actually, and horses can hurt you too, but horses, I don't think of them like cobras or like, or like grizzly bears or something like that. So there's one about how to protect yourself from a horse attack. And I was like, this should be fun. You want to talk about funny. And I know it's not funny, but people do stupid things. Like I saw one guy come up behind the horse. He's square behind the horse, right? Not on the side, but square behind the horse. I don't need to know nothing about a horse to know I'm not coming from behind on a horse. Not only does he come from behind on the horse, Shawn, he rears up and smacks that horse on the ass. And you know what that horse does?
Oh, he's going to kick his hind legs absolutely right away.
And that dude flew about 20 feet, man. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, it's funny to see, right? I'm glad it ain't happening to me. And I know it's potentially deadly. But I'm thinking to myself, how stupid. It's funny because the horse kicks him. And at the same time, you think, how dumb can you be to walk up behind a horse and smack it on the ass as hard as you can?
Yeah, that's definitely wishing for a death wish right there. I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that? But in any case, these things came up in my mind as we're talking about stuff today, Shawn. All right, that takes us wire to wire on Tuesday. Tomorrow is Shawn's least favorite day of the week, hump day. We will be back tomorrow, Josh. Jared and I will be covering Evangeline Downs to see how our picks stand up to Rob Toole's picks, the announcer we had on last night's show. That was fun as well, Shawn. So, and then on Thursday, his home track, Jared, is Aqueduct. He swears up and down he's going to be able to light up that card. So I'm looking forward to that. Thursday night, we'll be covering the Santa Anita Derby and a couple of races around that. Not quite sure who that guest will be yet. Sarge was supposed to be on, but TVG got mad and was jealous of the success of the show. So they said, you're going to work for TVG that night. Friday, Tom and I are going to cover some grade 1 races in Australia. Not quite sure what Terry and I'm probably going to take Saturday off because Terry's not around. I don't want to bother Jared anymore. But that wraps up this week's schedule.
Yeah, another week just rolling right on through it. So just keep plugging away.
All right. So we'll be back tomorrow with TikTok star Electra, who's going to give Shawn all sorts of advice on the best way to handle flaming chainsaws while he juggles in Speedos once we hit that 1,000 mark on Twitter. And then until then, folks, we hope everybody has a fantastic night. Thanks for joining. If you like what you saw and you haven't done so already, down there, you see on the scroll bar, please follow us on Twitter specifically at Horse Race Today. And then also the same handle on Facebook and on Instagram. You can catch us on Horse Racing Radar TV over at YouTube. While you're there, kindly subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up so that the folks at YouTube know they should move us up their algorithm. Any final thoughts, Shawn, before we go home tonight?
No, that's it. Another great show. Thanks to Maddie. I mean, everybody that comes on the show. We just got to, more people got to get to know the people in horse racing, and they'll instantly become fans.
Whether 2 thumbs up to Maddie. I like I said, I really do love her. I love her attitude, and I can't expect anything but great things to come from her. And I hope that all
Maddie
comes
is
to pass.
Rich's ticket, no matter what.
From now on, Maddie's on my ticket. It's a lock. All right, Shawn, have a fantastic Wednesday night. Thank you, everybody, for your time tonight. We appreciate it. We'll see you all tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern with Jared. See what we can do tomorrow night at Evangeline Downs. Until then, have a great, great night. And I do think I put the right video in for the end. I'm hoping. All right, Shawn, bye.